Welcome, welcome to the Astro and the Oracle program. This is Celeste of Astrology by Celeste. I'm an astrologer, a coach, and an intuitive, and the host of the Celestial Insights podcast, which is available wherever you listen to podcasts like Apple, Spotify, all the things. And I must say, I'm hitting it on the podcast. So it gives you a breakdown of what's coming for the week, including words of the day and 3 big things that you want to be looking for. And the podcast theme is always like a mini prediction of some big story that's coming up for the week. I need to do a lot of things, but I want to start capturing them. But so much is going on. Anyway, I'm so happy to be back and healthy. Yes, I am here on Instagram. Yes, and this week what we're going to do is I'm going to talk about the astrology a little bit. I'm going to try to be concise, but I can only do what I can do. Anyway, I'm going to use the Folklore deck. Now, this is a rock pool deck from Giada, is that how you say that name? Rose, so apologies if I mispronounced your name, and Hadas Knox. I'm working with this deck and I am enjoying it. And I pulled the card. We'll see what that card on the bottom means. Okay. Oh, thank you, Teresa. I'm so glad you love my podcast and always start the week with it. Thank you. Yes, I had a spectacular, wonderful time at NORWAC, as I do every year. It happens at Memorial Day weekend in Seattle, and it's the Northwest Astrology Conference. And I gave 2 talks about the dark side of the moon and the lunar cycles, really to help people to understand what to look for or set intentions around regarding specifically houses and signs. And that was a surprise presentation because someone unfortunately couldn't attend, and I got a lucky break. Venus is moving through my 10th house. Yes, it is, giving blessings. Yes, and I predicted I might have that happen, and it did. Yes, and in my own head. And then I gave a talk about secondary progression. So if you went and didn't have a chance to see my talks, you can view them until the 10th. Or I think you can go on norwac.net and purchase them if you want. Yes, but I had a spectacular time, was tearing up the dance floor on Saturday night, as I do every year. I really highly recommend attending. It's so wonderful. Okay. Hey, how are you, Tanya? So good to see you. And Manifester from Toronto. Hey, hey, hey. Hi from Montana. I have never been to Montana. It looks beautiful. Is that where that TV show happened with Kevin Costner that I really loved about that? Were they an oil family? No, they were ranchers. Yeah, it was really good. The first couple of seasons. I didn't watch the last season with Beth and whatnot. What was the name of that? Beth and the sexy guy. What was the name of that show? Thank you. Hi, Jacqueline. Oh, yeah, I'm feeling so much better. Oh, you're in Saskatchewan. Lucky you. Yeah, we had so much fun. Oh my God. Oh, you're in Utah. Jen, thank you for saying that you're in Utah. Okay, I am one of the faculty of the OPA, which is the Organization of Professional Astrology. We're having a cosmic shift retreat in Park City, Utah, October 15th through 19th. And I'm doing a 3-day intensive about predictive astrology. So you need to already know the basics if you want to come and learn with me. We are going to have a spectacular time. Last year was phenomenal. I know this year will be again. And it's a smaller conference. So there'll be less than 100 people, I believe. So it'll be intimate. It'll be a place you can come by yourself. We're doing this in small groups, and there'll be dinners and things. So this is going to be spectacular and wonderful. So if you want to join, the early bird pricing ends on Tuesday. So make sure to go to OPA Astrology, and the link is in my bio here and on my website. So yeah, and reach out to me if you have any questions, but it is going to be spectacular. My group maximum is 8 people. I don't know how many spots I have left, but it's going to be phenomenal and intimate. And we're going to have so much learning, fellowship, and fun. Okay, thank you for letting me know. So come if you want. Hey, Wreck and Rally Rose. Hey. Yellowstone, thank you. Yellowstone. I loved that show, especially the first couple. Thank you. I could not think of it. Yeah, Park City is absolutely gorgeous, and the property we stay at is wonderful. Absolutely. Okay, I've got notes here, and I want to keep on task. So what I want to talk a little bit about the astrology first is Saturn in Aries. So Saturn, the planet of structure, karma, discipline, duty, earned success, has moved into the sign of Aries, which is the sign of its fall. Now, some astrologers don't talk about dignity, but it's so important when you are trying to understand the energies that are coming up. It's less important in people's natal charts. Like if someone has Saturn and Aries in their natal chart, at some point they have lessons, especially in their early years, maybe especially around age 7, 14. 7 is a Saturn square. Saturn is the timekeeper. It comes in and talks to us every 7 years, and a square is at around age 7. So if you have Saturn in Aries, in 7 years, Saturn would be in Cancer. So, if someone had Saturn in Aries, where they have lessons about discipline, and in the sign of Aries, in the sign of its fall, suggests that maybe there's a little bit of impulsivity, Aries, where, it's ready, fire, aim, that you have to learn, and you learn like a little bit of harsh lessons about being too impulsive with your actions. And then over time, this person, if they, do the work, they become someone who's an incredible, they could be a military leader or someone who's a sports hero or someone who has this discipline that allows them to succeed in Aries type fields, which are competitive, there's risk taking involved, pioneering. They could be this incredibly pioneering leader who's so innovative and whatnot with a Saturn in Aries. But they have a journey where it's just not natural, like a little Saturn in Capricorn where it's at home. They come out of the womb doing what they're expected to do, potentially, depending on their chart, maybe wanting to get the approval from their parents or the authority. So they're disciplined. It comes from internally within them. They are maybe someone who is more likely to follow the rules set out by the authority. Yeah. Or someone with Saturn in Libra, they learn, it's exalted, where they somewhat learned lessons around maybe they were exaltation suggests they have some kind of benefactor or someone they witnessed all of the benefits. Maybe they have parents who went through a long-term marriage and had trials and tribulations, but stayed together, loved each other, negotiated difficulties between themselves, and demonstrated how the relationships are the highest work. And when you when you come to them with some seriousness and some discipline and see a sense of duty, how bountiful they can be. And maybe they have all these kids who've, just had this beautiful childhood and had success themselves as adults, blah, blah, blah. That gives me Saturn and Libra type feelings. Now, Saturn in Cancer, where Saturn's in the sign of its detriment, could be where this can be someone who's in their family life. There was, for whatever reason, a lack of structure, a lack of discipline, or such the opposite. It was so oppressive that the family structure, they can't wait to get out, or, and then they have lessons, or they saw in their family emotions either being punished or running amok or things like that. There could be different reasons why the expressions of that Saturn in Cancer. These are just bullet points to consider. So don't take it personally. I have Saturn, blah, blah, blah. No, these are just some bullet points to think about how it could show up. But Saturn in Aries, it does not like to be in this sign. It's the sign of its fall. And what we're experiencing, and since like the big thing, whenever a planet moves into a sign, you immediately see something. So Saturn went into Aries on the 24th, and then on the same day we had Mercury-Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And the thing we saw on Sunday was Macron, the prime minister of France, his wife literally pushed him in the face. And so that was a demonstration of a leader being disrespected, admonished, all these things that led to a bit of one of the things with Saturn and Aries is people lose respect for their leadership because they feel the authority is not deserving of their standing or their situation. And Saturn went into Aries and immediately started to apply to Neptune in Aries, which I call pop the balloon. So myths about people dissolve, the pixie dust. Like if you were told a bunch of BS, you start to see it's not true. And and that's what we're seeing as Saturn moves in Aries with Neptune. Now, they don't come together until January, but we're seeing all these things about structures dissolving, the authority, the illusion being pushed, like pop the balloon, like going away. We're seeing this in the physical world as well as seeing it in the news and in our own world. For me, it was getting an illness, getting COVID. Anyway, I'm better now. So that was number one. Number two was that the president of the United States has been coined, this Financial Times reporter coined him as Taco. Trump always chickens out with these tariffs. And then Wall Street started calling him Taco. Now, this is not like one of his typical opponents being critical of him. This is people who he wants their respect. He wants to be thought of as this financial genius, who bankrupts casinos. But I'm not even going down that road. No, I'm not. I'm sticking to the point of, I'm exercising more discipline myself with what I say. Yeah, we're not going to talk about the casinos or the Trump stakes or all these business ventures that went kaput. We're talking about Wall Street. And so apparently this very much upsets him. But this is about the people who propped him up. They thought he was going to be great for the economy. Look where we are now. We're in big trouble. Even though things look okay on the surface, the bond market is shaky. There's a lot of financial problems, but we're not going to get into that. So that's the second thing. Another thing is Putin. On Sunday, it was called Farewell to Arms is the name of this week's podcast. And what happened on Sunday where the Ukrainians launched this mission that they've been planning for 18 months. That's a lunar phase family. So they probably started the planning in the Sagittarius new moon cycle, and then they executed it on Sunday, where they moved these drones into Ukraine on trucks, and into Russia on trucks, staged them outside of military bases in some kind of wooden structure, you think Saturn, and then when the mission was launched, the wooden structures fell. And I mean, I maybe not have this perfect, so read up on the story. And it's still coming out. This just happened 4 days ago. The wooden things fell away. The drones, and these are like $300 drones, came up out of these trucks, and then boom, went to these air forces and destroyed all of these military planes, of Russian military planes, at 5 different bases, and then caused $7 billion of damage. So it was farewell to arms. These planes that were used to launch military missions destroyed. And so it is like the stuff of myth making. This is Neptune in Aries, a mythic, like Dirty Dozen type of military operation executed with precision. Mercury was in Gemini, recently reborn after Mercury Cazimi. And in the news, it said that Zelensky okayed this mission himself. That is the sun, and that's the Cazimi. The sun is the leader. Mercury are the people who came up with this plan. They told the leader, they sat at the foot of the king and said, can we do this mission? He said, yes, it's time to go. Mercury, the plans, Mercury's reborn, goes out and do its things. It's an absolute success. It's the magician type thing. Mercury is at home in Gemini, where it can do what it does with ease and make it look effortless. Yeah. So that strategy and tactics all came together and did that. So Putin looks weak. And since then, they blew up some bridge in Crimea. So Putin's like getting problems. And the Saturn-Neptune conjunctions are known for taking out Russian leadership, or big turning points in Russia. So that's another one. Elon Musk got a black eye. That is literal. He was standing in the Oval Office and it was his right eye. The sun and the moon are the luminaries, and traditionally the sun is the right eye and the moon is the left eye. Now some switch it for men and women, but whatever. The sun is the right eye. And Aries rules the head and the eyes and the face and all of this stuff here. So Saturn in Aries. Saturn rules the color black. Aries rules the face and the eyes, and the sun type figures, the leaders, the right eye. So Elon Musk had a black eye and apparently wets his pants when he does too much ketamine or something. I don't know. You could read the New York Times article. And the United States decided to elevate this man to be... Anyway, let me not get going on that. So that he's been taking down a peg. Just today, the word of the day is judicious. This is making more and more news that there's this Rockland County, is it in Maryland? It's somewhere in the United States. There's this court case about the election where all these people voted for, it must be New York because it's Senator Gillibrand, Kristen Gillibrand, but none of them, Kamala Harris got 0 votes in this county. They are talking about election anomalies, and this case is going forward. This feels like a Saturn and Aries things to like hold up what is going on, restrictions, limitations. Is the leader duly elected is being discussed with this case. We'll see how far it goes. But these are the things we're seeing with Saturn in Aries. Also in the spiritual community, I have been noticing, like in astrology, like some people, you know, read one book and start talking about a bunch of nonsense. Like if you have no water in your chart, you have no emotions and things like that. And people are being called out for their BS. And it's, I wrote it down. How did I describe this? Like, yeah, spiritual figures called out for shallow and harmful messaging. And yeah, the fake sacred being pulled down. So people are being pulled down if they're false idols. That's what is happening with Saturn, Neptune, and Aries. The false idols. Then Saturn can be like errors or false, and Neptune, the idols, the gurus, all of that. So hopefully that made sense and helps you understand some of the things we're seeing. Okay, let me read all these comments. Okay, hey Angelisa. Yeah, okay, let's see. Yes, 7-year itch, Reckon Rally Rose. Yes, Saturn that's the 7-year itch. You've been in a relationship 7 years. Saturn is squaring itself from when you started, and you're looking out of the side of your eye, like and getting a little bored. Do you want to stay committed, Saturn, to this person? Or do you want to do other things? Yes, that's definitely a Saturn thing. Yeah. Oh, you're feeling the exaltation. Me too. Oh, you're in your Saturn opposition, Tiffany. Wow. Interesting. I hope you separate Saturn. That's a Saturn word, from anything that's not aligned with you in terms of relationships and whatnot. Oh, good. You feel that. That's true. A lot of men do like to be dominated by women. And she's 25 years older than him, Macron's wife, and was his teacher. So, yeah. Yeah. Hey, Sarah, Astro Auntie in the house. I miss you too. Astro Auntie and we always roomed together at NORWAC. We had so much fun, as we always do. Yes, we do. She gave an incredible presentation on fashion and astrology. So you can, if you didn't see that, watch it. It was so good. Yes, exactly. Yes, I'm telling you, the title of my podcast are hitting it. Yes. Yes. Russia always makes big news. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, taco ceiling. Yeah. Well, Tiffany, if you want to become a dominatrix, you go right ahead. I don't know. That's to each their own. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes, Mercury rules, Chrysula, Virgo, and Gemini. And your natal moon, yeah, so Mercury. Yeah, so how have you been feeling since Mercury went into Gemini? Are you feeling, just like really think about it. Think about how you've been feeling since then. How does that Mercury in its home sign? And this Sunday, Mercury is going to switch into the sign of Cancer. So moving from this air sign, and the last thing Mercury does on Sunday, is meets Jupiter. So Sunday is a good day, Mercury and Gemini conjunct Jupiter, to be judicious, the word of the day, about what you say out of your mouth, because things can come flying out of your mouth and then get a little reaction, and then somebody ends up in tears with Mercury and Cancer. So be mindful, like that last degree, they meet at 29 of Gemini. That's the last degree of crisis and decay. So it's a good time now to get your thoughts out from journaling or just contemplation, so that it just doesn't come spilling out, because there's that, and on the Venus will be in Taurus. It's going into Taurus tomorrow, and it will square Pluto. So like this can be something in the back of your mind, comes out your mouth, and it causes a problem in a important relationship, because Venus is at home in Taurus. So now it can be healing. It can be wonderful. Jupiter is a benefic. It can be the truth. It can need to be said, but you want to say it in a way that will help you rather than be a problem. So just keep that in mind. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, it's a blue county. That's a big deal. Oh, your video's freezing. Oh, no. I don't know what's going on. Thank you. Okay, let me see. Okay. Yeah, don't hurt. Yeah, it's prime fight material. Yes. So be aware on Sunday, Saturday and Sunday, this weekend. And the moon's going to be in Scorpio. The truth can come out in a really unhelpful way. So just be aware of that. Okay, let me see. I think I said, oh yeah, and Putin's calling it Pearl Harbor. So notice all the World War II stuff that's coming back into the collective. Yeah. So I wrote it down. Power is stripped of pretense, weakness exposed, respect revoked. This is part of Saturn in Aries. Yes. Okay. Oh, my prediction. This is called Prediction Corner. Oh, I don't have my prediction deck. Sarah will be happy to know. I think something big's happening with Beyoncé in England. I think she's going to be knighted or something by King Charles. And it's going to be very symbolic, because what is happening is Venus is moving into Taurus and Jupiter is moving tomorrow, and Jupiter's moving into Cancer on Monday. Venus is going home. Hallelujah. Thank the Lord. Tauruses and Libras, we deserve an award for what we've been through this year with our planet Venus meeting Saturn 3 times, retrograding, being in Aries forever, the sign of her detriment, and now she's moving home. Now she's going to square Pluto. So, I mean, there's a little tension still, but she'll still be on her throne where she can do what she does with ease, which is feel internally more at peace, grounded, abundant, and just better in general. And then Jupiter's exalted, lifted up with a special seat at the table in the sign of Cancer. We'll talk about that next week. But Jupiter awards, and I'm wondering if Beyoncé is going to get an award for being a pioneer in the arts. There's something called the Dame of the Crown, blah, blah, blah. We'll see. If it happens, I will let you know. But I think that's what's going to, because her chart is really activated. I think that's what's going to happen while she's in London performing. And it would be a subconscious statement about, the United States is going like full white supremacist in the government, with like they're taking the names of Harvey Milk off of a Navy ship and talking about taking away Thurgood Marshall's name, who was the first Black Supreme Court judge, Harriet Tubman, other women, like taking anyone who's not a white male Christian's name off of anything. So we're seeing that. But like King Charles awarding Beyoncé, who is unparalleled in terms of her talent, her work ethic, whether you like her music or not. She is an innovator, who's like country, blue, like she does it all. So we'll see if that happens. Okay, let me get to these cards. Okay. Yeah, and Cowboy Carter, she'll be there at the Sagittarius full moon on June 11th. The Sagittarius is a cowboy archetype. Yeah. And with Saturn in Aries, like she is a fearless innovator. Okay. Who's willing to risk failure in order to take risks, challenge herself, do things differently. And she wrote Cowboy Carter after the Country Music Awards disrespected her. And then she came out with I love it. Love it. Okay, we'll see what happens. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so let me pull cards. Let's pull cards for Saturn in Aries. And I'm going to use the Folklore deck by Giada. And somebody, if I'm saying that wrong, please let me know. Rose and Hadass Knots, and it's a rock pool deck. Look at how pretty the back of the cards are. Okay, you're going to listen to your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign for a 3-card reading. For Saturn, like some things to think about for Saturn and Aries, or just whatever you think is the card is saying to you. What is your first impression when you see it? Okay. Aries. Okay. This is... Okay, Aries. Now, I have an Aries moon. But I pulled... Oh, this is good. Okay. For Aries, your card is Curse. What dark energy can you cast off? So let me read this. And Saturn is a malefic, so maybe I should have picked Venus and Taurus instead of Saturn and Aries. Give your vote. Should I do Venus and Taurus instead? Anyway, we're going with this. This is what I said I was going to do. So, what dark energies do you need to cast off? And you know what? I have an Aries midheaven, and I have decided that I really need to elevate my work. And I'm being more, last year I went I've been really experimenting, doing different things. And I'm grounding myself and being more intentional and less, I'll still be creative, but it'll be a different way. If you feel the weight of harmful energy, how can you cleanse it? If you are particularly sensitive to the energies around you, you may absorb negativity more easily. This is so important for Aries because Saturn is in your sign, so you have to be really more conscious of this. This is excellent advice, actually. I laughed when I saw the card, but this is excellent advice. How might you set a boundary around yourself? Perhaps the heavier energies you carry are not even yours, but ones you've inherited, like the idea of a generational curse. The science of epigenetics explains how trauma is passed down, yet much like fairy tale curses, epigenetic changes are reversible. Diving deeper, the need to break a curse often initiates a journey. So this could be your Saturn and Aries story, Aries, where you are recognizing things that are harmful around yourself or energies around you, and it could come from within. Like if you're impulsive, this Saturn can help you get a hold of it and challenge you to be more intentional, and then you will have earned success around it. And there may be people, depending what house you have this in your chart, that you have to separate from or move away from. It could be groups, organizations, a job, a neighbor, a whatever. Yeah, a pet iguana. I don't know. Yeah. Through tests and trials, the quester ultimately grows. Do not fear the curse. Be aware of strictures binding you and hold your boundaries. Fire creates boundaries, and Aries is a fire sign. But know that every curse is an opportunity to break harmful cycles and discover your own strength. In many tales, the curse's victim did not know why or when it originated. Sometimes we unwittingly curse ourselves to a misery we believe we deserve. Dig deep. The origins of the curse may be key to ending it. So really contemplate this. I think this is really good. Really, really good for Aries. What curse do you need to break? Thank you. Yes. Okay. Oh no, I'm sorry if this is freezing. Oh no, this is so good. Oh well, I don't know what's going on. Okay, let me finish these cards. Some people are saying they're having freezing. I hope this is going to record. Let's see. Okay. For Taurus, you got the 4 seasons. I love this. Whenever I see 4 seasons, I think about the hotel chain that is one of the most premier hotel chains in the world. They're really beautiful. I've stayed at them in a few places, and you are treated right. But this says, can you embrace your cyclical nature? To me, this is about Taurus. Venus is coming into your home sign. Saturn, if you look at Taurus on the ascendant, Saturn and Aries will be in your 12th house, helping you bring, gather together and bring, tame and bring some discipline to any self-undoing. Because if you don't, it can have more serious consequences. Yeah. So, but I love this. What I'm thinking with this for Taurus is about Venus and, like having some bounty, understanding the cyclical nature. So we went through Venus and Aries, which has a lot of good stuff, but it was tough for a lot of Tauruses because Venus rules relationships and Aries is a sign that is more about putting oneself first. So hopefully in relationships, you did some of the work needed to do that when appropriate, but now Venus is going home. So, you may feel better or more grounded. Ooh. Gemini, shapeshifters. Shapeshifter, can you dance between forms? For Gemini, I hope I said, this is right. Saturn in Aries is going to be in your 11th house. That's if you put Gemini on the ascendant. So Geminis are going through big changes. And Gemini is the shapeshifter because there's a dual nature to the sign of Gemini. And Geminis really pay attention on this coming to Sunday because Jupiter is getting ready to leave your sign. Try not to overdo things, but keep this in mind. And there could be a need for you to limit group interactions in a certain way or exit a group or there may be like a serious conversation needed with a friend or something like that. Or if you're a Gemini, a friend may have a serious conversation with you. And Uranus is going into your sign July 7th. So you could be awakened to, you're going through a big change, Gemini. Yes, you are. Whether you're a sun, moon, or rising internally. Do you feel it? Pay attention. Your shape is shifting. And it can be in many positive ways. Oh, Cancer. Okay. Hey. Okay. I look at this. I see Beyoncé in one of her videos for, it was the one where she was all mad at Jay-Z because he was cheating on her, or so we've been told. Yeah. And I shouldn't say so we've been told. Yeah, that Lemonade, one of her images looked like this. And this is Cancer. Jupiter is going into Cancer. This fits with my prediction that she's getting some kind of award. Yes. I hope that's what's coming. How are you protected? And Cancer protects. An amulet. And an amulet is something that offers some kind of protection for oneself. So we'll see if I'm right about, I hope I'm right about her getting this award as in concert with Jupiter going into the sign of Cancer. But Cancers, think about protecting your energy, because the first thing Jupiter does when it gets into Cancer, it's going to square on the 15th Saturn in Aries at 1 degrees, 14th or 15th, wherever you are. And then on the 18th, it's going to square Neptune. So Jupiter square Saturn is known for Jupiter rules wealth, Saturn constricts. So we'll be seeing some wealth stories in the collective, like a bank could fail or something like that. But like protecting your energy, Cancer. Yeah. So if you have Cancer and Aries, you're going to protect your energy, and you're going to recognize any kind of dark, you're going to cast off that dark energy. Yeah. Whatever it is. It could be like quitting sugar or anything like endless scrolling or something or worrying constantly about what's going on in the collective, or letting yourself get too scared by what this administration is trying to scare you. Don't fall for it if you can help it. I mean, some people need to be scared because they're really at risk. We all do, but we all could just dissolve into fear. But fear, the only thing to fear is fear itself. Okay, Leo. Predators. What predatory forces are at work in your life? Leo, think about that with Saturn in Aries, because Saturn in Aries is a smooth, easy flowing trine to Leo, because they're both fire signs. So Saturn is supportive of you. It's helping you. So if you're a Leo, you have Aries in the 9th house. And so hopefully you don't have to sue anybody, but that could be for some Leos that you decide, okay, enough is enough. My neighbor around on the other side of the fence, their tree is out of control. They've refused to deal with it. We're going to the people's court, and they'll deal with Judge Judy. That could be something that somebody is dealing with. Or it could be, on a trip. 9th house rules trips. Be very mindful of your personal safety. And because Mars is in Leo. Be mindful of your personal safety and your phone and everything. Yeah. While you're traveling. Or, yeah. So think about that. Yes, let me see if there's anything else I want to say about that. Predators. The predator archetype would cease to exist without the victim. Predators are certainly fearsome, and we must learn to recognize them and to acknowledge our own predatory urges, but we must also learn not to use the strength of a predator's darkness to punish ourselves. Are there predators you yourself draw in by dwelling too deeply in the victim archetype? Examine your own attachment to woundedness. These internal patterns might prove even more shadowed and entrenched than any external predator. Once you recognize the patterns, you can learn to contemplate them. Ooh, this is perfect. Yeah, these are good. Absolutely in line with Saturn in Aries. Absolutely. Virgo. The well. Where lies the source? So for Virgo, Aries is a quincunx. So Saturn in Aries is a quincunx to your Virgo placements. So before I get into the card, it's really important for you to be aware of watching the degrees and watching the dates of when Saturn's exactly quincunx any of your Virgo placements, because this can be a health aspect where you're more likely to be susceptible to some kind of illness. So on those days, you can be extra mindful, to be extra careful, a resource, get enough sleep so you don't get sick. There's some new variant of this, this virus out there and stuff like that. So just be aware that for your Virgo placement, Saturn's only going to get up to 1 degree, and then it's going to go back into Pisces and not come back into Aries. It won't get past 0 Aries in the next year until like March or something. So, but just be aware. Where lies the source? Look at that picture. Where lies the source? The well. Virgo can really be of service. And to me, this is just intuitively, if you need help, ask for it. You don't need to do everything yourself. You don't need to be perfect and all that kind of stuff. So keep that in mind. And Virgos need a break from Saturn because it's been opposite you in the sign of Pisces. So now it'll give you a sense of a break. Now it's moving out. So hopefully Virgos are feeling more relaxed and rested. And do you feel like Saturn in Pisces is over for now? Do you feel like you're drinking from a new well and finding new sources of nourishment and hydration? Have a glass of water. That's my recommendation for Virgos. Okay, let's see what else. Did anybody say anything else? Oh, good, Beth. Hey, Beth. Okay, let me see if I want to say anything else about the well. But I think that was... Ooh, beneath a surface of still water flows your deep subconscious. You have the ability to locate deep water and draw it up into the light. But a dried up or contaminated well can have disastrous consequences. Repairing the addition of water from above. So it's like the rain is coming back for Virgos. You deserve a medal for getting through Saturn opposite your sign. Now it's going to come back a little bit, so the work's not done. But this is a great time to think about, ooh, this just popped out. So this is your card, Libra. Hearth. Where is your heart at home, Libra? So Saturn in Aries is opposite your Libra placements. And so this for Libras, people, Saturn in Aries, people who are blocking you from expressing your Aries energy, being yourself, asserting your own needs, asserting your own boundaries, you may find that you no longer feel at home with them, and then you're leaving. Yeah. So where is your heart at home? You could be moving to a new place, and when you are moving, Libra, and everybody, just be aware when you're thinking of where you're moving, like thinking of climate change, moving into a basement underneath the apartment is not a great idea because flooding could be a concern. If you're too close to the beach, as the water levels rise, there can be problems. But, oh, I love that. Yeah, that's perfect for Libra. Yeah. And you may have to say goodbye to some people. Hermit. For Scorpio, who will you become in silence? Hermit for Scorpio. This is interesting. So Aries and Scorpio are both ruled by Mars, but they're signs that are in conjunct. So they don't see each other, like in conjunct, the quincunx. It's like a blind spot. Who will you become in silence, Scorpio? This is really interesting. So Scorpio, same thing as I said to Virgo. Be aware when Saturn is quincunx, your Scorpio placements, because that can be a health aspect. So that's a time to be extra mindful about your physical well-being. But let me see what this says in terms of the Hermit, which is a Virgo archetype. The Hermit might face demons in the form of frustration, the restlessness of unproductivity, or the fear of emptiness and abandonment. Solitude might feel unnatural, especially after the noise of modern life. If these feelings arise, remember how potent this seemingly dormant period can be. What can you unearth that usually lies buried beneath the bustle of your day? Hermits, listen and learn. Winter is a necessary period of rest for the earth. The desire to withdraw often comes when we question who we are, where we want to be. Seek advice, and we find no shortage of opinions. Yeah, this is about going within. For Scorpios, you may find with Saturn and Aries that you withdraw more or feel more need for solitude. Okay, Sagittarius. I got the Death card. How might an ending become a renewal? How might an ending become a renewal? So for Sagittarius, with Saturn is supportive of Sagittarius, and what can you end And for Sagittarius, if there's overindulgence or overdoing things, this can be really helpful for you to end it with Saturn being in the sign of Aries. And it can be a real renewal for you. Yeah. Oh, Alchemica, you have a lot of Scorpio placements. So really notice if you feel the need to hermit with this transit. Oh, you're saying it's resonant for you. Okay. Ooh, Capricorn, forest. What lies in the depths of the shadowed wood? Forest. So for Capricorn, Saturn in Aries is squaring your Capricorn placements. So squares are tense, and especially for people born around 1989, this is going to be a really big transit because you've got a Capricorn stellium where you have all these outer planets. Well, you may have Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune all in the sign of Capricorn. So this could be like you're going to be, this is the opening, this is the opening Saturn square for people who have Saturn in Capricorn. Yeah, so you're going to be tested. You may feel challenged to really push yourself past perceived boundaries, like get something done. Yes. Let me read what that says. 9, forest. The unconscious, unknown, and untamed waits within the human psyche. By traveling into the symbolic wood, great growth is possible. Saturn will help you grow by testing you. Yes. When was the last time you journeyed to the deepest, darkest corners of your mind? It may be a scary endeavor. The woods in folklore are teeming with supernatural creatures. Not all of them are helpful or benign. Some are dangerous, yet stepping away from the safety of the village limits and braving the forest, you may find the answers you long for. So you feel tested to challenge yourself, to have, to set aside your fear and go forward. Saturn rules fear and go forward and do something that you want, like you feel called to do. You maybe need to confront your fears, Aries, Capricorn. Yes. Yes, that was when the Berlin Wall fell. Yes. That was Saturn and Neptune in Capricorn. And now we've got Saturn and Neptune coming together in Aries. Yeah. Structures are collapsing. Aquarius, I pulled the moon phases. How can you radiate light in the dark? This is so interesting for Aquarius because Pluto is in your sign. This Saturn and Neptune in Aries is a sextile. It's opportunistic. And how can, despite darkness, and Aquarius is great at, okay, so things are changing, things are crumbling. Aquarius can look to the future and see the possibilities of what we can grow out of the collapse. And collapse is not always bad. Collapse can be good in some ways. And Aquarius can be people who they have that I know is your tagline. And how can you radiate light in the darkness and be a beacon of wisdom? And the moon phases is symbolic of growth and decay. And we're just in a time where as the outer planets move through the end of the signs, there's this breakdown, and then we go into a new sign, and there's this new thing coming, this new growth coming. And with Saturn in Aries, we're seeing the paradigms are shifting. So this is what Aquarius is, part of your work through this time is. I love that. And not let cynicism get you too far. Oh, shoot. I'm talking. Okay, here we go. Pisces. You got healing herbs. What practical magic rises from within. So this is Pisces. Saturn's out of your sign. Celebrate. Enjoy. What did you learn over the last 2.5 years about yourself? Whether you're a Pisces sun, moon, or rising, what new magic have you found within yourself as you were tested? Now, Saturn is moving into your second house, so you can get feelings of being clear about your talents, about your resources, and things like that. I love this for Pisces. It's like, it may feeling like a breath of fresh air. Have you just been feeling better in some way? Yes. Herbs are a bridge between the worlds of magic and logic. Our ancestors passed down knowledge. Maybe this is just a call for you to take your immune supplement boosters. I don't know. Yeah. The word woo comes from the ancient Chinese wu, meaning a female shaman and healer. What is the medicine you intuitively reach for? A walk, a bath. Trust your instincts, even when hidden from in the cracks. Learn to see the earth as an extension of yourself. Feel into what it is trying to say to you through the most verdant language, being this ancient wisdom in your life. Yes. I hope that helps. Oh, you've got that Aquarius stellium. Yes. Okay, great. Well, I've talked a lot. I will put this up on YouTube as well, if you want to, with timestamps and all that kind of stuff within the next day. But take good care of yourself. I hope this was helpful. I think these cards are really in line with the Saturn and Aries transit. And I hope this was helpful. I'll be back on Friday with a cosmic conversation with Diane. Take good care. Okay, see you soon. Bye.